Welcome back to the Wild Files, the podcast where we unpack the people side of MSP growth, leadership, hiring, retention, and culture. I'm your host, Jane Matthews, founder of Wildcat Careers, where we help MSPs build stronger teams with the right people in the right seats. And today we're talking about something most MSPs underestimate: your hiring process. Because your hiring process tells candidates far more about your business than, well, most leaders realise. It reveals your communication, your organisation, your leadership, urgency, and confidence. And sometimes, well, your chaos too. Most MSPs think interviews are about assessing candidates, but candidates are assessing the business just as heavily. Every delay, every vague update, every reschedule, every week of silence, well, it all tells a story. Strong candidates are not just asking, do I want this job? What they're actually asking is, what would it feel like to work here every single day? That is why your hiring process is not separate from culture. It is culture in motion. So today I'm joined by the lovely Damien Harrison from Bondgate IT, and we're getting into what candidates really see during hiring process, why strong people quietly disappear, and what process confidence actually looks like inside an MSP. So Damien, tell the listeners about yourself, your role at Bondgate IT, and Bondgate IT itself.
Hi, Jane. Of course I will. So I'm Damien Harrison. I'm the Operations Director at Bondgate IT. I've been here probably about 8 years now.
Wow.
And during that time, I've held several different roles. And as Operations Director, my job, I think, is to catch anything that the MD throws in the air and try and keep hold of it and make sure something happens with it.
I
And
love
push
it.
back when I need to and tell him, no, I don't like that. Do I always get my own way? Probably not. Probably not.
But
So
give it a
where
good go, Damien. Give it
I
a good
do,
go.
yeah, I do. We've got that nice open relationship where I can tell him I don't
Good.
like that idea, and he'll tell me
Excellent.
I do. I'm like, okay, that's what matters, mate. It's your business.
Love
It
it.
is what it is, isn't it?
Excellent.
So Bondgate IT, we're 23 people, MSP based in Darlington,
Uh-huh.
in the northeast of England. And if you don't know where Darlington is, it's somewhere between Leeds and Newcastle. If you get to Newcastle, you've gone too far. If you get to Leeds, you've not gone far enough.
Brilliant. Love it. Fantastic. Great stuff. Well, thank you for that. Let's get into it. So, Damien, do you think most MSPs realise that, well, candidates are assessing the business just as heavily as, well, the business is assessing them during the hiring process?
No, I don't think they do,
No.
and I think that's the same across most interviews. It's one of them awkward things, isn't it, where the people doing the interviews don't like doing the interviews, and the people being interviewed really don't like being interviewed, and they're both kind of thrust in that kind of
Yeah,
position because one of them needs a job and one of them needs an employee.
absolutely.
If they don't like it and they're there sticking to the default list of questions of
It's quite
how
an
do you install?
unnatural situation, isn't it? You wouldn't normally have a chat with somebody in such a way. I think it makes that, a very bizarre but required situation for
It
both
can
both
be,
people.
yeah, it can be very, very robotic.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, and rightfully so, there's very little room for leeway, very little room to go meandering off and having a conversation because you've got these set of questions that you want to get through and you want to give everyone the same amount of chance to answer the same amount of questions
Yeah.
equally. Because, when you've got a list of people, you ask them the same questions, it's very easy to score against.
Yes.
But that rigidity doesn't give you that ability to understand the human side of an individual,
Yeah.
whether or not culturally they're going to be a good fit. Technically, they might be the most amazing person in the world, but culturally, it might be a complete square peg in a round hole,
Yeah.
and they're just not going to be a fit for your business.
I know.
And that's painful not only for the individual you end up hiring,
Yeah.
but for the organization who hires that individual.
Yeah. Can be toxic as well, can't it?
Totally, totally. If you bring in the most technical person in the world and they can't hold a conversation, they can't build relationships with other people in the office and the community, it's really difficult for everyone to kind of get on side with them.
Yeah. It does create a very strange atmosphere, doesn't it, when that happens? Absolutely. Do you think, I mean, interviews are like traditionally, the business will ask loads of questions, and then at the end they'll say, "And do you have any questions for us?" And the candidate has about 5 minutes to ask what they want to ask. I think it's quite a bizarre way of doing it.
It is. It, like I say, it's very, very rigid.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
it doesn't allow for that person, that human, to come through. It's
Yeah, yeah. No,
and
you're totally right because it's a very, very unnatural situation, and they're assessing you, you're assessing them, but you're trying to go through this rigid process to make sure everything's fair, like you say. And yeah, it's just bizarre when you think about it. It really is. Yeah, yeah. And what point, if you think about the hiring process, you kind of want to explore when we think that, the hiring process starts to reveal how the MSP really operates behind the scenes. And I'm not just talking about the interview, I'm talking about, the process from obviously either a recruiter finding the person or the MSP finding the person themselves. And it's that process that we need to make sure is slick and not necessarily people don't necessarily have a process to start with. But we can have delays because perhaps there's lots of things going on operationally in that week, and that creates that week of silence. And to the business, it feels normal because there's a lot going on. But to that candidate, they have no idea what's happening, and they start thinking, "Well, do they want me? Are they interested?" And they're interviewing elsewhere, and it's kind of understanding kind of how that process reveal really behind the scenes to that individual that doesn't see the behind the scenes. Does that make sense?
that does make sense.
Good.
It's the way I would probably think of it is if a prospective customer got in touch,
Mm,
what would be your process for getting back to that customer?
yep,
It would probably be same day. It would probably be at least within 24 hours.
absolutely.
You'd probably be arranging to go see them within that week, and you'd go with a planned meeting to understand what it is that pains that customer, what it is that the customer values, and what drives them and what they need from a relationship. MSPs don't do that with employees. Many businesses don't do that with employees.
Absolutely.
It's the threat of we'll put you in a silo and we'll deal with you when we get to that stage of the process. There's
Yeah.
very little in terms of a customer journey.
Mm,
There's
mm,
no customer journey defined that says as soon as someone applies, we'll send them a message saying thank you for applying. This is the process. This is what we're going to do on day one. This is how long it will take the process to go through. Because then straight away it's nice, isn't it? You know what
yeah.
to expect, you know when it's going to happen, and you can prepare. You can prepare yourself for. So I'm going to get interviewed in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a personality test of some sort
Hmm.
within the next 2 weeks before the interview, or whether or not it's a two-stage interview or a three-stage interview, whether that opportunity to ask any questions before the interview, to reach out, maybe you grab a coffee and understand whether or not you're a good fit before the interview.
Yeah.
Stuff that you do with a customer
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's a
doesn't
brilliant
happen
way of explaining it.
doesn't happen with someone who's going to be a prospective member of your team that you're going to hopefully nurture and grow into
Yeah.
a position.
Because they are just as important as your client. So they should have the same experience and carry the same journey. Absolutely.
Probably Probably more important than your client in some aspects, because your whole company is rested upon these individuals. They're the people that your customers will talk to on a day-to-day basis. If they're not a good fit for your organization, then that will reflect badly upon you as an organization.
Yeah. And your
And
customers.
for managing directors, operation directors, if they're a bad fit for your organization, there's a high possibility that you're going to be dragged back into that relationship and that conversation time and time again.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I love how you explain that because that makes what sometimes feels like to people, what's the hiring process? A really easy way of going, okay, well, what's our customer journey? we need to match that to be what our, interview process and our person journey is gonna be like. And I really, really like how you've explained that, and I expect that's how you do things there, isn't it?
It is, and we try and map out that whole journey from looking for a hire to actually having an employee in the organization. Everyone should understand what their journey could consist of, and we know it varies and we know it changes, that people's
Mhm.
wants and needs and desires will be different depending on where they are in their career. But if we can give them, this is a typical journey that people go on, the start of an apprentice, they'll become a first line response engineer, they'll become an escalation engineer, they may then end up in projects, they may end up somewhere else in the business,
Yeah,
or they may want to leave the business and go elsewhere, and that's perfectly fine. It's
absolutely.
got to be mutually beneficial, and people have to be happy. And if people feel that they're not getting what they need out of a role,
Mm.
then we will wish them well on the way.
Well,
If
absolutely,
the
and you've
time
helped,
comes again,
yeah, and you them on their journey, and that's an amazing thing to do for somebody.
it's just exactly the same approach that people take with customers, isn't it? It's
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
have them for a set period of time. They may be incredibly happy and they may stay forever, which is ideal.
absolutely, yeah.
But you may outgrow them or they may outgrow you.
Yeah, yeah, true enough.
And that happens in life. And there's no point squiggling about it, upholding grudges about it. It is just natural progression.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. It's evolution really, isn't it, within a
It
business?
is.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, I kinda wanna think about why slow hiring and communication and that delayed feedback creates so much distrust with strong candidates now. I mean, it's obviously pretty obvious to a certain degree, but are people aware that slow communication and delayed feedback creates so much distrust with strong candidates, you know?
They're probably not aware.
Mm,
And if you're slow at giving feedback, at pushing people through the process during the
mm,
hiring stage,
uh,
then what's your management style going to be like? Are you going to put them in a job and not have one-to-ones on a regular basis, not have appraisals? When
uh,
they've got an issue they want to talk about, are you
mm,
going to be absent from that conversation?
yeah,
And the flip side, if your process is slow, and again, we'll go back to the customer journey,
yeah,
if your process is slow and someone else is fast,
mm,
you're losing a large market share of possible candidates because people out there have got it nailed down and they've got that whole journey mapped out. Candidates suddenly know that they can either carry on waiting for you to pull your finger out, for lack of better terminology, or they can go into a job.
yeah. Absolutely. And people are normally, when they're at this situation, they're ready to move. They could be in a business where I hear it all the time, where the culture's toxic or where they've outgrown it, where they're frustrated and they are ready to move. And if you move too slow and you've got another MSP that's, like you say, got a swift process, then you unfortunately will lose out because that person needs to move. It's for their own well-being, really at that stage, a lot of the time.
It may even be out of a job. It may be they're looking for an apprenticeship. They're looking for that stage in their career where they're going to get that nurturing and that support.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to provide that from day one of organising an interview,
Yeah, simple as that.
are they going to trust you to nurture their career and to help them grow?
No, probably not, Damien, probably not.
Probably not.
No, because the reflection back to them is, well, these people are disorganized. Like you say, how am I gonna feel when I get into that role? What's it gonna be like? Are people gonna look after me? Am I just expected to get on with it on my own? Is there any process there? Do they just muddle through? It's amazing the reflection back, and it just goes like you say, it really goes back to that customer journey. You wouldn't have a new customer inquire and not talk to them at all. 'Cause you're thinking about it, like you say, it's within 24 hours, if not the same day that inquiry comes, you jump on it because it's an opportunity.
Yeah. And if you ghost them, then they'll look elsewhere and they'll go elsewhere because there's enough people out there looking for customers, looking for employees.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's a pick of the bunch and pick the best one, isn't it? And it is And only way to know how that business works and what the culture's like and what the processes are like and management's like and leadership like is to feel that reflection back. Yeah, absolutely. So, what are some of the signs in a hiring process that make strong candidates quietly lose confidence and disappear from the process?
Random questions in an interview is one
Like
of the
what she,
things I would say.
like
So
like
one of the worst questions I've ever been asked in an interview.
yeah.
In fact, the whole process was atrocious.
Okay, go on, tell
From
me.
walking into the building to starting the interview. I
Yeah.
walked into the building and they sat me in a waiting room that looked like a store cupboard, and it was a disarray of chaos. It just looked absolutely chaotic. And then the first question they asked me was, "Do you like gravy?"
What?
That was the first question they asked me. It's like this connection kept dropping, and
Wow. Wow, what a first question. Do you like gravy?
yeah, and straight away it just threw me off of everything. I just thought, you know what, I'm checked out. I'm checked out. If the whole interview process is based on the fact whether or not I like gravy, depends what with, doesn't it? Is do I like gravy and ice cream? No.
I just can't believe and that is gotta be one of the, I mean, I've heard an awful lot of weird and wonderfuls, but that has got to take them with mustard. It's absolutely classic. What's the other one people ask? If you were an animal, what would you be?
Yeah. I'm
What?
just like, well, what's the value of that?
Yeah.
It's if it's there to try and confuse and make the person think on the feet, and well done, you've confused them.
Yeah.
The chances are the brain's still to be thinking about that question while I try to answer your more serious, more technical questions because they're checked out mentally. They're like,
Yeah.
well, do I want to be a cheetah? Do I want to be a monkey?
Today I might be a giraffe.
Yeah, it's just like, why? Why? And I
Yeah.
know it's interviews are tedious and they can be very, very long drawn out,
Yeah.
but ask questions that get you to know people, not
Yeah.
if you could smell a colour, what colour would you smell, or something random. It's like the answer to that's always purple, because purple I think smells quite nice.
Oh, okay. It's good to know. It's good to know. I would choose pink, but there we go. Think it would smell sweet. No idea.
Yeah,
So you've got that. So that's losing confidence because, well, A, it's random. What the hell's it got to do with it? You've got somebody who's shown you into a waiting area that looks like a broom cupboard, the disorganization, the chaos, etc. But do you also think that they quietly lose confidence if there's delay in the process?
they totally will,
Mm,
because again, it's that whole if you are delaying the process, then what else is going to be delayed for me when I start working for you?
yep. It's that
If I put an
reflection.
annual leave request in, is that going to take 3, 6 months for you to approve?
Yeah.
If I've got to go to a doctor's appointment, are you going to go, oh, well, yeah. It's also one thing that I've also seen before in interviews,
Go on.
which really drives me mad, is when you're getting interviewed and the interviewer picks up the phone and starts looking at the phone or starts looking at the watch,
Yeah.
and you're like, cool, so you've checked out, so you're not
Mhm.
interested. So that either means I've already flunked it
Yeah.
or you're just not investing in it anyway.
Yeah. It's
So
rude. It's rude.
it's totally rude.
Yeah.
It's totally
Yeah.
rude. I've seen people do it in one-to-ones as well, and it's just like, nope. You
No.
put your watch down, you put your phone down, and you focus on that individual.
Absolutely.
You give that
That is the
individual
time.
that moment of your time.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. You wouldn't, I mean, can you imagine doing that with a client?
No, no,
Exactly.
you wouldn't.
No. So it's exactly the same thing, isn't it? Like we go back to that customer journey. And it's just being respectful, really.
It is. They've given up an hour or 2 hours of their time to come
Yeah.
sit in front of you
To explore
and
the
get,
opportunity to understand actually, do they
yeah,
work there? And all of a sudden you're being, well, you've checked out because you're looking at your phone. And you just, yeah, I would be sat there going, "Do you know what? This is a waste of my time. I don't actually wanna work there." And that's when they quietly lose confidence and then disappear. And then, MSPs call it, "Well, we were ghosted by a candidate. We thought it was going really well." And you're like, "Well, look at what you're doing."
yeah, it's just crazy at times. When I worked at the NHS, so one of my big careers was working at the NHS in the IT
Yeah.
department, and anything above a band six, or band six is a team lead,
Right.
you had to go do a group exercise.
Okay.
and you were sat in a group, a table of 6, and around you was 6 senior managers for the trust, all watching your interactions. And the tasks they gave were quite interesting.
Okay.
Run a project, do this, do that, so based on the job that you're gonna do. But they were so stressful. It
Yeah.
was such a stressful occasion. It was like a full 3-hour group exercise event, and you had to tick the boxes that they were looking for, whether or not you were involved, giving way to let other people be involved. You had
Yeah.
to properly manage everything, which was okay. But I've
Mm.
seen some people in them group exercises get up to go to the toilet and not come back.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Good.
they may have been the best person for that job
Yeah.
because the job might not have required them to do something in a group that size.
Yeah. And put them in such a stressful thing to do anyway, and putting them in a hugely stressful situation. You're not going to get the best out of someone, are you?
No. And there was no prompting about, we're going to give you a group exercise. A group exercise is going to be based on X, Y, Z.
Mm.
It was, give you a group exercise, you'll find out on the day what it is.
So you couldn't prepare.
You couldn't
Oh,
prepare, you couldn't research what
no.
you were going to talk about.
Gosh. So you've got the stress of not knowing what it was. So that builds up a lot of tension before you even get into the process or in that situation. Then you're going in there, you're surrounded by all these senior managers. That's stressful. And then you get literally told what it is as you're in there. And then you've got to think on your feet. I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to do that myself. Goodness.
You also then get marked down if you don't stand up and be a scribe, which straight away screams like discrimination. It's just
Yeah.
like, well, they may not have decent handwriting because they work in IT. Some of us haven't touched a pen and paper for donkey's years.
Well, no.
They may not want to stand up for an hour and write stuff down because they may not be able to.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. What a weird process. But that's the NHS for you.
That is the NHS for you.
We
That
could
is.
go on that subject for years, but we won't, Damien. We better not stand on that soapbox.
No, let's stay away from politics.
So what do you think is the difference between a careful, well-run process and one that feels chaotic or disorganized to candidates?
Visible, clearly defined, well communicated, with milestones set between, and a clear outcome at the end.
Yeah. Feedback.
Feedback, project plan. It's a project, isn't it? Again, if you were delivering a project for a customer, you would make sure they're aware of the milestones, clear communication paths,
Mm-hmm.
clear feedback,
Yeah.
and a milestone at the end. This is when we will make a decision. We will make a decision sometime in the next 5 years.
Or we
You-
just won't tell you that you weren't successful because we don't like doing that bit.
Yeah, we won't give you any feedback either. We won't.
No. We'll just send you a nice
Even if you
email that says you weren't successful in this occasion. Thank you so much for your time.
even if you phone back and say, "Look, can I have some feedback?" Which I've always made a case of doing.
Good.
So when I've ever been for an interview, I always treat an interview as I'm going for a meeting.
Yeah.
I go in with a notepad and pen with
Mhm.
some pre-written notes, some bullet points of these are the things I think I want to get across. Because your brain goes blank, doesn't it?
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And as soon as you sat there and your brain just goes completely blank, you don't know what questions are going to be asked, which is fine because you could just then chat GPT and understand everything. But I go in with bullet points.
Yeah.
I also go with a list of questions that I want to ask at the end.
Good.
And then, if I'm not successful, it's a, hello, can I have some feedback, please?
Yeah,
And the amount of
absolutely.
times are, well, the other candidate was just slightly better.
Which is rubbish thing to
I'm
say.
like, that's okay if it were better, but what is the feedback on my performance, on what I did and what
Yeah.
I delivered?
What can I do better next time?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
One question I've always asked in interviews, which really makes them uncomfortable,
Yeah.
and that's probably me just being a pain in the bum,
Go on.
is what do I need to demonstrate right now to prove I'm the best candidate for this role?
Love that. That may make people very uncomfortable because they're not expecting that one.
Yeah. It's one, I can't remember where I got it from. I got it off through reading a book or a
Yeah,
YouTube
yeah.
video once, and I thought, I really like that
Yeah.
because that's the kind of question that would just make you go, no, you've answered every question really well. I can't think of any reason not to offer you the role.
People get all polite, don't they? It's really amusing.
Yeah.
They're very English. Fantastic. Well, brilliant. So if there's one thing to take away today, from today's episode, I think it's this. Candidates experience your culture during your hiring process, not after they join. Treat your hiring process like your customer journey. Your communication, your organisation, urgency and leadership all tell a story before, a candidate ever walks through the door. And, strong candidates notice everything. And that is why hiring is not just recruitment. It's trust, it's culture, and it's leadership in motion. So if your MSP is struggling to secure great people, do not just look at the advert. Look at the experience that you're creating, or you haven't created, that you need to create. So a huge thank you to Damien Harrison from Bondgate IT for joining me today. And thank you for listening to the Wild Files. If this episode resonated with you, share it with another MSP leader who, needs to hear it. And as always, stay intentional, stay structured, and please don't forget to stay wild.